Hello, Instagram. How are we today? So, welcome to another episode of Instagram Live with a guest series. Hello, welcome. Giving you a wave. Hello, Francis. How are you today? Thanks for joining me. Hope you're all right. Hello, everybody. So, today we're going to be joined by two guests, actually. And they are the founders of a company called Yumzy. And I'm very excited to be able to speak to them today because they are very knowledgeable about healthy eating in terms of baking. So I absolutely love what they do, and I was very excited to invite them on. So I'm just waiting for them to come on, and then I will invite them to join me. Hey, I'm glad to hear that you're good, Francis. How are things? How's the weather where you are? We had 16 degrees today here in London and a bit of sunshine, so it was nice. I've got my plants now, so that's very good. So yes, so hopefully they will join me very soon without any technical difficulties. And here we are. Excellent. I'm going to invite Yumzy to join me right now. Hello.
Hi, can you see me?
Yes, I can. I can see you and I can hear you.
Amazing. How are you?
I'm very well, thank you. How are you?
I'm good. Good to be here.
Thank you so much for coming on.
Thank you for this amazing opportunity.
Oh, I love what you do. So I think we're going to have a very interesting conversation.
Good, maybe the two of us.
Yes. So is Adrian joining you behind the camera as well?
Adrian is making sure everything is ticking along technically well. So we can't talk about him because he can hear everything.
Okay. Well, hello, Adrian.
He's waving back.
Okay, that's good. So thank you so much again for coming on. Now, I want you to introduce yourself to the audience. I absolutely love what you do, and I love your baking so much, completely fallen in love with it. And I think what you're doing is quite visionary because there's not really anyone else doing quite what you're doing. And I'd love for you to share with us how you got started on this journey and what led you to start Yumzy.
Of course. So for those customers who have seen me face to face or spoken to me before, I have been type 1 diabetic since the age of 5. I mean, I had amazing birthday cakes made by my mom, made by my grandma, made by people I love, but they always, even if they tried to reduce the sugar, there was flour. And we all know flour is high carb. As I grew older, I realized how bad these things were for me. So I cut them out of my life. But a bite of cake doesn't really make a dessert, and a bite of your birthday cake doesn't really make it that well as a birthday. So as time progressed, I started playing with my own recipes. I started taking my favorite recipes from my family recipes, changing this for that, changing this for consistency, doing other things with it. And before I knew it, I was making low carb cakes. All going well. Then along came my best friend, who is vegan, and my husband, who is lactose intolerant. And guess what? I'm egg intolerant. So suddenly, that low carb cake was still not to be enjoyed by everyone. So we transform it and make it in a way that it was vegan as well. Then the low carb and vegan cake, which is gluten-free by nature, was born. However, it wasn't celiac friendly, and we have a cousin who's celiac. So my whole life I thought gluten-free meant celiac friendly, but apparently not. So after understanding the differences and risk of contamination and all of this, removed everything, started over again, made sure that it was correct. Then came along my friend who's a sugar addict. She had a bite of my cake, which everybody loved, and she said, "Blech, this tastes like earwax. I can't even swallow it." Back to the drawing board. So back to the drawing board, had to reinnovate everything, recreate everything, do it in a way where it was super healthy, super vegan, super delicious, used safe ingredients for kids because we have lots of kids in our family and our friends have kids as well. And do all of these things, but at the same time, make it so tasty that people who like super sweet things will still enjoy our desserts and not feel they're missing out or say it tastes like earwax or cardboard. And Yumzy was born.
Wow, what a journey. That's amazing. And you're so right, because I think that there is a lack of things available for people with intolerances and certain special diets. And it's like you say, maybe it'll work for one person, but then there's always going to be someone else who can't eat it.
Definitely.
You're really catering for everybody, which is so wonderful, because especially with, special occasions and things like that, there come a group of people together with different diets, different intolerances.
Exactly.
So it's very
And enjoying food together, part of enjoying food, and one of Yumzy's core ethics is for everybody to feel inclusive. Our strongest ethos in Yumzy is to be inclusive, to bring people together, to enjoy food together, everything together. At the moment, our nut-free range is not as expensive, but in our shop, we used to have nut-free ice cream. We used to have a lot of nut-free options as well. But supplier issues and so on, that's not as expensive at the moment. But Yumzy is meant to bring everyone to the table together.
I think that's such a beautiful mission. I think it's such a beautiful mission. And, we all need to have those nice treats once in a while because they lift you up. And the thing is, when it's made the way that you make them as well, you don't feel so bad. You can actually indulge a bit more because it's not that bad for you, actually.
You're one of our loyal customers, so you actually know what we do inside out. And I remember being interviewed by you for a few hours the first time you bought from.
Yes, I was asking you questions.
You did. And I'm glad you brought it up the way we do things because there are a few bakeries out there that do try to do similar things to what we do. I mean, the closest they come, they taste great. But for example, my first question would be things like, what are the ingredients used? Because it's one thing to say, our ingredients are premier, our ingredients are great. My first question is it safe for kids in 20 years' time? Is it safe for kids to eat it in big amounts? Is it safe for this? Is it safe for that? And I think we go through very extensive measures to make sure that everything we have can be enjoyed by everyone, whether from something as small as labeling to something as big as the type of stevia. We can buy stevia for £7 a kilo, but the stevia we buy costs us £23 a kilo, just to make sure that it is the right type of stevia, that a small toddler can enjoy it, an old person can enjoy it, someone who doesn't plan to have cancer in 50 years' time can enjoy it. All of these factors. Cacao, we try to encourage family businesses like us. So our cacao is outsourced from Peru, from a single estate. And it's pure cacao, which means you get the iron benefits and all of this. Every single ingredient we use, we think about it extensively. There are so many ways to make money, but for us, Yumzy has been a passion, which explains why, unfortunately, we had to close our shop and so on, because for us, it's a passion, it's an ethical journey, and it's not just about making profits from people.
And that's what I really love about you, because there are so many people who are in it for the wrong reasons, and they may not be as healthy as they claim.
No.
So they make decisions based on profit rather than based on ethics, whereas you do the opposite, which is why I'm so keen to support you, because I just think it's so important. And yes, and I want to talk a little bit about sugar and sugar substitutes, because this is something that I know that you're very knowledgeable about and that you've educated me a bit about, because there are a lot of sugar-free options out there, but and products that use natural sugars. But you're very opinionated about how that's not necessarily always a good thing. Can you explain to us why that is?
Sure. So for someone who's not as bothered about, first of all, let's look at people who cut their carbs. So for me as a diabetic, every carb I eat has to be counted for me in my insulin intake. So for each 5 grams of carb, I have to inject a unit of insulin. Now, if we're talking about someone who's insulin resistant, that formula would be different. For each 3 grams of carb, they need to inject, or for each even 1 or 2 grams of carb, they need to inject the right amount of insulin. In my case, luckily, at the moment, it's 5 grams of carb for 1 unit of insulin because I don't have the issue of insulin resistance. Now, in my case, I can eat things with low carb. I can eat Yumzy desserts, which I have a few to show off later. But
Amazing. Look forward to it. I'll make sure that we have a look at those before we head off.
I'll be enjoying them. You'll be enjoying them visually. But
I got so excited then that my whole phone turned. Go on.
So for someone like me, for example, I can enjoy a cupcake because Yumzy guarantees everything is under 5 grams of carb. So I can easily enjoy a cupcake and not worry about injecting. Why? Because it is guaranteed under 5 grams of carb. Now, for me as a diabetic, I have to take care of protein as well because protein does need insulin after a certain amount. But Yumzy products are high protein, which is why they fill you up. But at the same time, it's low carb, which means you don't need to worry about injecting. As many diabetics referred to us, we were a diabetes vacation for them when they came to our shop. And for me, for example, I can eat those things. But if I eat something with more than 5 grams of carb, if we're talking natural, even if it's something like coconut sugar, even if it's something like just wheat flour, even if it's something like gluten-free flour, even if it's something, honey is healthy. Some people who are not vegan claim honey is healthy, and it is healthy. But for someone like me, if I have a spoon of honey, that I'll need to inject for. So a lot of people call it sugar-free, and you'll see in London, if you go to any market, it will say sugar-free, sugar-free, sugar-free. If you ask them, what are you using that is sugar-free? What makes it sugar-free? You'll be shocked. They use things like dates. They use things like agave syrup. They use things like coconut sugar. Is that really sugar-free? No, that's refined sugar-free. There's a big difference.
Yes.
Refined sugar is not sugar-free. For me as a diabetic, that will kill me exactly the same way sugar would. That would give me complications exactly the same sugar would. Now, the industry, if a product contains nuts, it will say this product contains nuts. If it contains sesame, it will say this product contains sesame. If it contains oil, sesame oil, it will say this product contains sesame oil. But unfortunately, it doesn't say this product has high carbohydrates, regardless of the fact it's sugar-free. And I feel this is unfortunately where we are failed as people who rely on carb counting for their life. And as people who are athletes, there are many people who avoid carbs. Athletes, many of them avoid carbs. Some of them eat it based on their training. Some of them avoid it. A lot of celebrities avoid it. A lot of people who have insulin resistance issues avoid it. A lot of healthy people like you avoid it because, let's face it, it's been scientifically proven sugar and a high intake of carbohydrates reduces the lifespan. And for that exact reason, it doesn't matter what kind of carbs. Yes, it's better off for you to have natural sugar than to have highly refined processed sugar, but it's even better for you not to have any of these high carb items. If you're not a high carb item, I think you'll be better off eating a banana than eating something with a lot of syrup in it.
Yes, and of course, sugar, everyone knows sugar is really bad, and I think it's important, as you say, the distinction between refined sugar and unrefined sugar. And even though most people, I think, understand we should try to avoid refined sugar, the unrefined sugar and the dates and things like that, of course, they're fine for most people in moderation, but a lot of people will also be aware that, you know, you should be cutting back on sugar in general, because overconsumption of sugar, even in its natural form, will contribute to the aging process and shorten lifespan.
And you crave more. So if you have a cake, a lot of our customers, when they used to come into Yumzy, they'd say, oh, I'd like 3 muffins to eat now. And I would say to them, do you want me to pack some for you to take away? No, I want to eat them now. And most of the time I smile and I say, okay, if you finish the 3 muffins, come down, I'll give you a free coffee or something. And most of the time they take me up on that. They go upstairs, they eat a little bit, they stay for an hour, 2 hours, and then they come down and they say, okay, we have to pack the rest and take it home. We can't finish all 3 in one go. Why? Because it's high protein, so it fills them up. The
Yes.
fat is very healthy fat, so it also fills them up. But they can't eat that much because although it's really delicious, it doesn't create or trigger that craving in their heads. Unfortunately, if they have something sweetened with dates, sweetened with honey, sweetened with syrup, sweetened with any of these items, that will still trigger that craving reaction. That is also triggered by bad sweeteners, unhealthy sweeteners. That is also triggered by a lot of other things that we don't use in Yumzy, like preservatives, things like that. All colorings don't trigger that. Other colorings, numbers, they all trigger that. So in Yumzy, it's not just a cupcake for us. It's let's try and make this customer as healthy as we can while we have the opportunity to give them this cupcake. And that's why our cupcakes are very different from anywhere else.
Yes, that's very interesting what you're saying about that appetite being triggered where you want more and more and more, which is obviously always what happens with sugar because it's so highly addictive.
Definitely. All types of sugar.
Yes, yes, you're right. And I have such a sweet tooth. So this is, even though I'm very healthy,
It's good for us.
It's my weakness, cakes and chocolate. And I know that I am guilty of sometimes having more than one.
It's not a weakness. It's not a weakness, and it's not guilt if it's from Yumzy. It's good for your health.
Exactly, exactly. Which is why I love your product so much, because then I feel like I haven't been so bad, you know. I actually haven't been naughty. I've just given myself a treat, but my body hasn't suffered for it.
You've given yourself iron from the cacao, because I remember you like chocolate items. You've given yourself psyllium husk, which is full of fiber. You've given yourself a negative, because, well, negative in the nutritional form, because most of our products, they have more fiber than they do have carbohydrates. So that actually works to your benefit if you want to lose weight or restrict your weight gain and so on. You've given yourself a very healthy high-fat item. And when we say high-fat, we're talking coconut oil, we're talking a bit of coconut yogurt, we're talking some coconut cream. You've given yourself a bunch of healthy things. If it's pink or blue in color, you've even got some spirulina in there, and you wouldn't detect the taste because we cover it nicely. And one of the other things we always add is extra kind of nuts. So for example, our hazelnut cupcake has extra sprinkles of hazelnut. We never use cashew nut, but we do use other things like macadamia and so on, which has a lot of vitamin E, which is great for skin and all of this.
I love that. I love that. And I know that you also use completely natural colorings as well.
Which is not easy. Which is not easy because you can't cook very easily with natural coloring. Like if you put a blue cake into the oven and call it a blue spirulina cake when it comes out, that is not the spirulina alone that did that. That's something else, because spirulina is an algae. It's going to lose color when you put it in the oven at high temperatures. It's going to lose a lot of the proteins as well, and a lot of the enzymes that would be killed off by putting it in the oven. So so I love Grace, who commented, why do I
Hi Grace.
We're based in London, PMS. We'll fix that. So
very good with her health. She's
I love it. So yeah, so other colors we use are things like hibiscus, which we source from developing countries. I grew up in a developing country, hence the ethical aspect of encouraging family businesses and this and that. Anything that's blue spirulina. Anything that's green, we use matcha. Coffee, I don't drink tea, but I admit I'm a total matcha addict.
I love matcha. Oh my gosh, matcha latte is my favorite.
So yeah, that's what I have to give up for Lent.
Okay.
But yes, so we use very natural colors wherever possible, which also increases the health benefits of our products.
Yes, it's so wonderful. It's so wonderful. And Grace has asked if you deliver, and they do. Yumzy does deliver. So you can just DM them on Facebook or here on Instagram. Just send them a DM, and then you can get the menu that way, which is what I did. And then they will, you put your order through. So yes.
Please don't come and find us. I'm scared already. Send us a PM of where you are, as Hege was mentioning. And based on that PM, we will answer you with the relevant menu. We deliver within London. We deliver out of London. and that way you can enjoy our treats wherever you are.
It's wonderful. It's wonderful. And I was going to say as well, whether you have any baking tips, because I know that a lot of people are baking during quarantine. Do you have any tips how they can make it slightly more healthy?
Sure. So my first and most important tip to everyone, please buy from a small family business called Yumzy. That's the best you can do.
That's what I will be doing.
We know you're very good at this. Thank you. We really appreciate all your support. The second tip, not so important, but still important, is please always make sure when you cook something, not only does it taste good, but also how will it affect you or your children in a few years' time. Something can taste good now. God knows how many medications we took now, and then after a few years, we knew that they were bad for us. So always think, what is the effect of this in a few years? If you're buying something, look, is it safe for baking? A lot of sweeteners will show you a photo or a picture of a cake, will show you a photo or a picture of something. But when you actually come to look at the safety of it, they will not mention it's safe for baking. They will just smartly exclude that fact. So always make sure you read everything you're using. Make sure you know what's in your food. I'm not against things like egg or milk, although I personally don't use them or eat them. But for example, it shocks me when I go to a market or I hear about online orders that use these products and don't temperature control the items. I mean, best case scenario, the items will mold before they reach the customer. Other scenario would be that the customer will receive them. They're not going to be molded. They will eat them. But if it's someone with a lower immunity system like me for being diabetic, they're going to suffer a bad stomach afterwards. Maybe not straight, maybe a day later, but still, that's so always make sure health and safety is not there to catch us out. It's there to promote better health and safety. Tips, these were more like guidelines or staying safe. Tips, we used to use it in Yumzy, but we had to stop because it was killing all our products with a shorter shelf life. But if you're baking for your family at home and you're baking something vegan, avocados are really good to put in there. Why? Because they make things very, very moist. So if you're baking it, you add avocado, brings out the taste of the chocolate more and makes it. If you're not an avocado fan, I know there are a few people out there who are psychologically allergic to avocado. If you're not an avocado fan, then you have things like, and you're not doing low carb, you can also add something like banana. Bananas are great. They moisturize the cake. They give it this strong flavor. They bring out other flavors as well.
I love that. I love avocado myself. I'm completely.
Me too.
Yes. So love avocado. I love avocado. But I see that Grace also loves avocado.
You know what? I'm happy. Matcha and avocado all the way. I'm happy to do a diet just on that.
Yes. Oh my gosh, 100%. Well, I think it's so brilliant because as a vegan and being gluten-free as well, it can be quite difficult to find sweet treats. And in general, sweet treats that I actually feel enhance my health rather than detract from it.
Exactly. Yeah. Because usually there will be a lot of sugar included to make up for the taste. For example, one time we were walking in a mall and there's this very well-known chain that was advertising sugar-free cakes, and I was excited. Over it. So I ran there. My husband said to me, "You do realize they're made of normal flour?" And I said, yes, I know, but I can inject for that. I just want to have the sugar-free option. It was before we started Yumzy. And I had a cupcake. I was happily injecting enough for the carbohydrates. Everything is good. Everything is calculated. A few minutes later, I was walking in the mall and I was like, I can't breathe. My feet are dragging. I was literally lethargic. I couldn't walk. And then I tested my sugar levels and they were off the roof. So we went back to the store and we asked them, how is this sugar-free? Like, can you tell us some of the ingredients? First ingredient was flour, which I understood, and I am gluten-free, but I was eating it because I was that interested in trying something. The second ingredient was coconut sugar. And that takes us back to what we were discussing earlier, where I said to them, how is coconut sugar sugar-free? Yeah, it's not refined sugar. I said to the lady, okay, tell the guys in your head office and nutritionist said you can't call it sugar-free. You should say refined sugar-free.
Yes.
And unfortunately, that's when I became very wary. Whenever I see the word sugar-free, I ask, how do you sweeten it? And if I hear any of these items or maltitol, for me as a diabetic, maltitol is exactly as sugar. Sounds the same way. So yeah, so you have to know the different items. You have to know it's good for you. Even things that don't affect your sugar levels, they can still create cravings. Even if you don't do that, they can still create a negative impact in the long term. So try to keep it healthy throughout. Ask what's in your food. Question. It's not like nuts, but for someone diabetic or someone avoiding carbohydrates or someone who wants to live longer, it's going to kill them slower than nuts, but nobody will tell them that.
Yes, I agree. And I think that's what a lot of people are not really aware of, or if they are aware of, they don't really want to think about it because it's just too good to eat cake.
And it's addictive. It's scientifically proven. Sugar is more addictive than cocaine. So how many people quit cocaine without having any help from anyone? Oh, not many.
Exactly, which is why we should. I'm glad that there are alternatives like your amazing cakes that we can go to and enjoy without feeling bad and without knowing that this is killing us slowly.
Thank you. Thank you. And it's making me healthy slowly.
So that's really exciting. Now, where can people find out more about you if they want to order cakes or just see what you have to offer? We're going to have a look at some of your cakes as well. I'm sure you will show us and tell us what's in them.
Sure, I will. So at the moment, we are hoping, we've had a few struggles with our website. And then lovely Corona has hit the whole country and economy and the earth. Let's put it this way. So our website is unfortunately not where we would like it to be. And we're focusing all our efforts now in meeting demands for people. So the best way to get in touch and know about our cakes, I am trying to work on the website on the side and put the nutritional values there so people don't ask us about it. But until we do that, drop us a message on Instagram or Facebook. Just tell us where you're based and we can send you the relevant menu for your area. Once we have the website up, you don't need to talk to us and you can socially distance from us in social media as well. But for now, please let us talk to you. Let us know you. Let us make it work. And once you see the menu, all you need to do is tell us what you'd like. And we send you a secure payment link, which means your card details are safe too. We pay the taxes we need to pay. Everybody is happy. And North London deliveries happen on Tuesdays. Anything south of the river happens on Friday. For whole cakes, we can make the exception and deliver it other days of the week. Also, outside London, we usually dispatch on Monday or Tuesday. So you have all these options.
It's wonderful. It's wonderful. And I have to say, I secretly love that because I'm south of the river. And I love the fact that I then get on Fridays because it's like the weekend treat, you know?
Exactly.
God knows.
Or Tuesday. Tuesday's the worst day of the week. So if I receive a treat on Tuesday, I'm happy. I can tolerate Tuesdays.
It's true. It's true. I just know that if I receive it on Tuesday, it's not going to survive until Friday.
Well, you can also freeze them, and of course they stay nice in the fridge. So some customers actually order from us every 3 weeks, and as much as we miss them, they do enjoy ordering every 3 weeks because it means they can keep some in the fridge, they can take some and put in the freezer, and it makes it easy for them not to order that often, but at the same time they have their treats ready and waiting.
I'm planning my next order, definitely. I will be ordering again very soon. I really want to eat one of those now.
Oh, I have a few here. Which one?
Let us have a look at some of your creations and you can tell us what they all are.
Sure. So I can't actually see myself on the screen, so you'll have to tell me if I need to move, but these are my favorites. So I'll start with my favorites.
Yes.
That's the triple chocolate heart.
Yes.
You're familiar with this one.
I am. It's amazing. Yes.
So this one is a very decadent chocolate muffin. And inside the chocolate muffin, you have a burst of melted chocolate. Now, why a burst of melted chocolate? Because it's meant to be a surprise. And then you have chocolate frosting on top, and then you have chocolate glazing on top of the frosting. You'll tell me it's a quadruple chocolate heart. No, it's not. It's a triple chocolate due to the frosting, due to the glazing and the muffin. The heart is already mentioned, and it's meant to be a surprise.
Oh, such a lovely idea.
This range, this range, we have the hazelnut one as well, which is actually my ultimate favorite. So I started with the chocolate because people prefer that usually. But for me, as someone who tried all the range, my ultimate favorite would be the hazelnut one, then the chocolate one, then the pistachio one. And we used to have a peanut and caramel one in the shop. But for now, we discontinued it so we don't cause more allergens in our kitchen when we prepare for people in London. My third favorite after the hazelnut and the chocolate would be the very lemony. So imagine a very lemony muffin, and to top it off, we have very delicate sour cherry frosting. Exactly, the two flavors are just a perfect marriage in every bite.
Amazing. Love it, love it.
So these are my favorites. Best sellers in Yumzy, because that's usually what people ask, are maple pecan, which I don't have here with me today, triple chocolate, and our bread and our chocomel.
Chocomel, yes.
Chocomel, which I will show you now because it's my husband's favorite.
Oh, please.
But I'm not a caramel person, so as funny as it sounds, and people, I know a lot of customers love our caramel products. Whenever I tried one of our caramel products, I cringe because I don't like caramel. Whenever our team try the caramel products, the first reaction I get is, wow, this is so good. And I'm like, okay, as long as people like it, I'm not a caramel person.
I definitely have to try that.
Sure.
Yes.
So that's chocomel.
Okay, could you raise it a little higher for the camera for us? Oh, a little lower. A little bit lower. That's it. Perfect. Oh,
sure.
Yes, it does look amazing.
So that's a layer of, if you can see at the bottom, you have a dark chocolate layer. So it's like it's basically like a cheesecake layer at the bottom with chocolate biscuit. Then on top of it, you have vanilla and chocolate merged together. And you can see the marbled effect.
Yes.
Then at the very top, you have the caramel. Now, now this in every bite, you will get a lot of flavors that will just hit you in a beautifully balanced way. People love it, and it's one of our top sellers. My husband loves it. Again, I'm not a caramel person, so I'm not the best to describe it, but people say it's gorgeous. We had customers who bought one, walked out of the shop, came back and said, can I have 6 of this? So, and the good news is this is one of the things we can send outside London, so they're easily freezable, easy to store, easy everything. The next one, which is here, is one of our donuts, and unfortunately we're going to be stopping donuts for a few weeks just because one of the ingredients has gone up in price, and we don't want to pass that to the customers. To answer your Grace, this is called the chocomel. So like chocolate and caramel merged, chocomel.
Chocomel.
I think my face is covered with all the cakes. So the donut is, this one actually is a special one because it's our Chocomelicious donut.
Oh my
As the name indicates, it's dipped in caramel, it's dipped in chocolate, and then it's covered in caramel again. And that's this donut. You're getting the pattern here. My husband likes caramel.
Yes. Well, I remember when I first met you last year, one of the donuts I had, which I discovered later after we spoke, it was the rose and pistachio.
Oh yeah, I'm not a rose person either.
Oh my God, it was one of the best things I've ever eaten in my life. So when you bring that back, you have to let me know.
Remember when you asked me about it, I said to you simply, I'm not a rose and pistachio person. I can't answer this question. And you had your doubts from the way I responded. But there you go. You love it. So.
Love it. Love it. So good.
Awesome.
A little recap for those of you who've joined us. So the products that Yumzy have are so amazing because they are suitable for everyone. They're gluten-free, they're vegan, they're low carb, high protein, keto friendly, no artificial colorings. And in terms of sugar, what would you say in terms of sugar? They're just natural.
Yeah, less than 2 grams of sugar, because let's face it, almonds have sugar in them.
Yes.
But less than 2 grams. So, for example, the donut, our
Yeah.
donut, normal donuts, if you buy a normal donut, it has about 25 grams of carbohydrate, maybe 15 grams of sugar. Our donuts come at 3 to 3.5 grams of carbohydrate, and we're talking under 2 grams of sugar.
Incredible.
It's even less than a bite of a normal donut.
Yes.
And the portion is quite generous. As you can see, to be able to hold this, I would need to wrap my whole hand around it. Because a lot of places say it's sugar-free, and they sell donuts that are almost, you have to use a tweezer to carry them. But these ones are full-size and everything.
Yes, they are.
Also, one thing I forgot to mention, by the way, we don't use yeast in any of our products. So all our products are yeast-free.
That's also wonderful, because I know a lot of people sometimes struggle with yeast infections and candida and things like that.
And IBS as well. People with IBS love our products as well. So.
Amazing. And I can testify to, you know, when you eat a normal cake,
I wouldn't know, but I'll take your word for it.
You don't know, but the people listening will know that sometimes it doesn't make you feel good after. It makes you feel very heavy, right? Whereas what I like about your products, except for how amazingly delicious they are, is that they don't make you feel like that. They make you feel light, and they make you feel good. They're not leaving you with that feeling of feeling like you've been unhealthy.
Yeah, you know? Definitely. We had a customer once who came to our shop with his 3-year-old, and he was asking me, so he will eat this ice cream and he will eat this brownie. Is he going to be climbing the trees and screaming in the park and doing all the tantrums? And I said, no. He said to me, if he does any of that, I'm bringing him back here and you will babysit him for the next 3 hours. And I thought, okay, guaranteed, we'll do that. And the father was like, well, if you're that sure about it, let's also throw in another brownie. And I was thinking, I wouldn't drink 3 bottles of water. Why is he giving the kids 3 items to eat? But okay, his choice. Yeah. So they went to the park, and the next thing I know, they were walking back towards our shop, our cafe, which worried me, because the first thought that came to my mind was, oh, I'm not good at babysitting, and now I have to babysit someone for 3 hours. This is not going to work out. But the next thing I know, the father came in, and he was so happy. And he said his child, even if he eats bread, which, by the way, was going to be the third product, our Yumzy mini baguettes, which are perfect for sandwiches. The father was saying even when his son eats bread, he becomes very angry, very agitated, full of energy that he doesn't know what to do with. And he said he couldn't believe he fed his son the ice cream, the chocolate brownie, and the caramel brownie. And his son was normal. He was feeling happy. He was perfectly fine, not grumpy, not complaining about a stomach ache, none of that. Yes.
I know that if I had children, this is the kind of treat that I would feed them.
Awesome.
You know? Yes. Yasmin as well asks if you do deliveries. Yes, they do, Yasmin. And I highly recommend you try, because your mind is going to be blown.
That's exactly what we aim for, blowing people's minds.
Yeah. All you have to do is DM them on Instagram and they'll send you a menu. So if anyone has any questions for Jolie, just pop them in the comments below. It's been so lovely talking to you, and I thank you so much again for coming on.
Thank you for inviting us, and it's beautiful to see you again, although virtually, but still beautiful nonetheless.
Yeah, thank you. Likewise. I just love what you do, and I wish that more people would be aware of making healthier choices, because it's important that we can enjoy life and have treats. You know, it's not about depriving ourselves, but it's about treating ourselves in a healthy and sustainable way.
And as a small family business, I think you inviting us on this program is amazing, because it tells more people that we exist for now, that we've existed regardless of the hardships. And hopefully that would help us when all of this is over to be able to take a step. And as a lady was commenting earlier, she wants to see us on Dragon Den and have our products everywhere. We would love to do that, but as a family business consisting of literally 4 people, it's not easy to do everything. We're talking baking, website, this, that, social media, answering messages. It's not easy, but we do it because we're so passionate. We're aggressively passionate about it.
Absolutely, and you're doing it for all the right reasons. You're the real deal, and that's what I love. And I'm sure that you will be hugely successful. I wish there would be branches of Yumzy cafes all
That's
around.
the plan. That's the plan. We were actually at the stage of franchising, but unfortunately we had issues with our previous location. It was an old building, grade 2 listed. They had a few issues with it. And that was the plan. We were actually going to look at a branch in Manchester, but unfortunately with what happened and the take back with all our capital and all our life savings, unfortunately that has to be on hold now.
Everything will happen in good time, when the time is right.
Indeed. Indeed.
That's what I believe. That's what I believe.
Indeed.
So yes, so everyone, I think it's so important that we support local and family businesses now, especially with everything going on, and especially with people who are doing something so important like what you're doing. So thank you for sharing all your wisdom and knowledge with us, and thank you for having created Yumzy, because it brings joy to everyone who knows of you and enjoys your beautiful creations and helps the health of so many people, and may it be able to help many, many more in the future.
We really hope so. And we hope to see everyone again. I see a lot of our customers commenting and saying, we miss you guys. We love you. We miss you so much. You have no idea how much we miss seeing you. Like people who bought coffee every morning, or people used to come every few days or so on. We really missed you guys. We really missed you.
Yes, it's wonderful. It's wonderful. And I'm sure that I hope that this will all be over soon and things can go back to normal, and that lots more people will discover Yumzy.
Lovely. We hope so. We hope so. And spread the word. Thanks, Grace.
Absolutely. We'll continue to do so. And thank you so much, everyone who has joined this live and watched it, commented, and given your questions. Thank you so much. And thank you again, Jolie, for joining me today.
Thank you.
It's been such a pleasure. Wish you a beautiful rest of the weekend, and I'll touch base with you again very soon.
I hope so, and I hope soon I'll be able to see you in person and hug you.
I hope so. Yes. A good chat over some good Yumzy goodness.
Oh yes, oh yes, in a little park, enjoying it in public. Yes, that would.
I'd love that. I'd love that. Let's definitely do that once this is over.
Yes, definitely. We'll do a Yumzy picnic.
Oh, can't wait, can't wait.
Brilliant.
Thank you so much. Woo.
Thank you.
Time that happens. I'm excited. Thank you so much again, Jolie. Thanks to everyone who's joined in. Wishing you a beautiful rest of the weekend, everybody. And I'll see you again very soon. And make sure you check out Yumzy on their Instagram and DM them with your inquiries, and then they'll send you a menu. Lots of love, guys.
Thank you very much. Take care. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.